Got dogs barking in the background once in a while. But I think this is an important thing to put out there, and I'm probably going to title it like, you know, what do you make payments on, and what does the word make mean to you, and what does the word payment mean to you? So let's start out with that. What do we make payments on? Most of us in our lives have paid a mortgage or rent or something like that, but I'm more or less looking at, credit cards, car payment. Well, let's just put car or cars. What else? Student loans, right? Student loans, or just general loans, maybe. What else do we make payments on? We might have a doctor's bill, or a hospital bill. Of course, we all have miscellaneous and stuff like that. But what I'm mostly focusing on, and I want to focus on, is like the fact that we use the saying or the statement, make payments. Oh, I got to make a payment. I got a payment due. What is due, right? And what makes something due? What does due mean? I'm going to tell you right now, people. I'm going to make a claim, and you prove me if I'm wrong. I already know the answer anyway, but every single mortgage out there in America is fraudulent. Every single mortgage that goes through a bank or some kind of lending institution that is incorporated, that needs your Social Security number, address, your resident address, your Social Security number, your fictional name. It needs all that, but it's fraudulent because it's already prepaid. All these are prepaid. And I should put a caveat like if you gave Social Security number, name, that all cap name on your birth certificate. I don't care if you wrote it in upper or lower. When they printed out the form, it was in all caps. Signature or autograph, but they're going to want your signature. That's your sign of nature. Let's write that in there. Okay? That's the sign that's a living man or woman left their mark on a document that would have been dead otherwise, and you gave it life when you did so. Here's something else that we do. And I'm not fancy, guys. I don't go out and do this fancy graphics or anything like that. This is how I do it. When I'm showing people something, I'm teaching them, I get a piece of paper and I write all this stuff on it. Of course it looks like chicken scratch, but I can type pretty fast. So, what do we say with regards to make and payments and stuff? So, how much money do you make? Or did you make last year? How much money did you make last year? And then someone might say, $45,000 or 45,000, after taxes. What are taxes? What are they? They're income, employment. If you're self-employed, there's employment. What else do we have? Property taxes, right? employment taxes, and then we got like sales taxes. We might have fees and stuff like that, but that's not really considered a tax. But what are taxes? Where do taxes come from? Like, well, who says we have to pay them? Who says that it's even for us? Taxes, these taxes listed up here are for taxpayers. Residents. Real estate. Not land. Not, I should say, real land. Anything in all caps is it's a fiction. So all this, a taxpayer is who the IRS addresses what looks like a bill to. Hey, taxpayer, you owe us this. Well, how can they assume you're a taxpayer? How do they know you're a taxpayer? Because you fill out a 1040 form and autograph it at the bottom and saying I owe you under penalty of perjury and full commercial liability, all that crap, and you send it to them, and you give them power of attorney over your person to act on your behalf, if you will, on your all caps name behalf, as fiduciary, or whatever the name is. What I'm trying to show you guys is that nothing is as it seems. If you're a living, breathing man or woman walking around on the land of Arizona or California, if you were born a New Yorker or a Georgian or a Floridian or a Wisconsinite or whatever, if you were born on one of those states and you're a living, breathing man or woman, then you do not owe income tax. You do not owe employment tax. You do not owe property taxes. You do not owe sales taxes in most cases. Again, this is for educational purposes only. I'm not an attorney. This is not legal advice. This is really just for fun, grins and giggles. Just spreading the love that's in my mind and in my head, using the brain that God gave me. And we need to rethink some things, a lot of things actually. Income taxes, not for you. They're actually for, who are they for? They are for employees of the government. Period. Pretty much. Employment taxes, this is like self-employed. Well, if you're self-employed, then you're an employer. You're most likely working in commerce and not in trade, and so all those things can be misconstrued and made against you. Property taxes, again, the tax is on the title to the real estate, not the land itself. By the way, you'll know you own your land allodially or in allodium. You can look this up in Law Dictionary. I would suggest Webster's 1828 or Bouvier's, maybe. That's what the Supreme Court of the United States uses, or one of the Black's Law, like the earlier ones, 4th or 5th or 6th. Property tax on the title. This is why, like, when you get pulled over, when you get pulled over driving your vehicle, so if you have a driver's license, here, let me just scroll down so we can move on to the next topic here. So, driver's license, right? That's the all caps name on BC or a variation of it. So it might be John Henry Doe or John H. Doe something like that, or even John Doe. More than likely, they're going to have some kind of middle initial or something. Okay? Driver licenses are for commercial purposes only. Only. You know, are you a taxi driver? You know, Uber. I don't even know if Uber fits in that, because you might be a sole proprietor with an unincorporated bank account or something. I don't know. What I'm getting at is you don't need a driver's license if you're not driving for commercial. If you're traveling, then not needed. It's not for living people. And you got to understand, when you are operating a vehicle in commerce, you technically should be bonded and insured. Right? So, do you go out and purchase a bond when you cause damage to someone else or their property, regardless of whose name it's in? No. Where does your bond come from? But now, if you have a business and you have like a work truck, and it's a big, 2-ton work truck or something, and it's got a dually, or whatever, it's past the 6,000 pound mark or whatever, you're gonna have commercial plates. You're gonna have a bond, that legal entity, corporation, incorporated entity will have a bond and a license usually to do business and stuff like that in commerce, because the quote-unquote government has jurisdiction over commercial entities and stuff like that. By the way, if your vehicle is registered, it's titled, and anything registered to the state is the property of the state. You are merely leasing it, even if you're making payments on it. And by the way, we already showed you, if you're making payments on a car, pay me nots, right? If you're paying for a car or a vehicle or whatever you want to call it, you are giving them money. They already got full payment up front. I want you guys to go figure out, and one of the things I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be creating like an Excel spreadsheet, and I'm going to pretty much do like the game of Monopoly on that spreadsheet. I'm going to pretend I'm 18-year-old who just got out of high school, who's going to go to college for something. And I'm going to get my first credit card, my first job. I'm going to pay my first set of taxes. I'm going to start. I'm going to have college loans. I'm going to have a new car with payments and insurance, and I'm going to be working like crazy. So I'm paying lots of taxes, and then a little bit later in life I'm going to get married, and to a lovely bride, and she's going to have a degree and lots of debt too, and for college, and she's going to have a car payment, and then we're going to have a dog, and we're going to register his information with the state, and we're going to get married in the state that we live in and reside, and because we're residents, and we operate in commerce, and we're taxpayers, and we're U.S. citizens, and so I'm going to just go through the whole life, and I'm going to go, okay, here at this age, here's your payments for the year. Here's what you need to make. Here's your taxes, right? Here's every car payment you made on something that was prepaid. Here's every payment you made on all credit card charges, which are prepaid. Here's every student loan payment that you made. Maybe you wait 5 years to pay them, or 6 months after you get out of college or whatever, like they allow, right? Every payment you make on loans that are, again, all these include, what you've given the social security number for and the name, and they're pretty much dipping into your account, your credit. And then they're double dipping, actually. They're getting it, even, I don't want to get off on a tangent. I was going to talk about the post office, but the post office double dips. You guys ever figured out why big corporations pay no or low taxes? Why do big corporations pay no or low taxes? It's more than likely because they are taking advantage, especially banking or investment companies or something like that, or commercial investment or something like that, where they're having payments sent to them, where a payment is literally a gift. So if you're making a payment on a credit card, it's a gift. You're gifting the credit card company because it's all prepaid. And so more than likely what's happening is after 36 months of you giving, I said I could type, giving them payments, free gifts, they ask the Federal Reserve if they can keep the funds and interest because you are lost at sea and unresponsive to claiming what is yours. And what they do is they get tax refunds, refunding. They're moving from one fund to another. When you get a tax refund, for those of you who do taxes, it's a refund. The internal revenuing service. What are they revenuing? What venues are they doing over? Are they what is that all about? Well, there's the creditor. Well, let me talk about the debtor side. So the IRS, all right. There is the debtor or the taxpayer. I did that before. Debtor, taxpayer versus creditor, secured party. Right? There's the public side of IRS and the private side of Internal Revenue. Okay? By the way, there's two different commissioners. There's the IRS commissioner, and then there's the commissioner of the Internal Revenue. Again, this is meant to be like, this is the creditor side, right? So you can see where I'm correlating here. IRS debtor taxpayer, public side, IRS commissioner. I believe this is how it is. It could be the commissioner of the internal, but I believe it's IRS commissioner, IRS. All right, and then this would be Internal Revenue Service, creditor, secured party, and we can move these down. All right. What else is ringing a bell here? That's about it. Yeah, that's about it. I think that's enough. That's enough to fry anybody's brains out there. So You know, if you make payments on credit accounts, you are giving your money away, literally. All right. And I mean, you are giving it away. Now you're like, well, what if I don't pay it? Then what's going to happen is they're gonna this and they're gonna that. They're gonna turn my electricity off. They're gonna do all that. By the way, your electricity. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh, here we go. Most people don't know this. We have SRP. So utility companies are prepaid using, you know, I'm going to say, you know, your all cap name SSN. Period. Think about it. Call up and get new electric. They're going to be like, oh, we need your social. You know, you fill out this application. You know, I haven't done it in a while. SRP utility. You know, what about like you know, city of, actually this should be all, you know, city of whatever it is. Utility services. You know, this is water and trash, and what's the other one that I can't think of? Sewage, I think. Right? So, you know, this might be $80 or $100 a month or something like that. But you know what? They're already getting prepaid. And what do? You mail in a payment and gift them the money. 36 months later, they ask the Federal Reserve to keep it. It says yes. Then they get a tax return. Return. It's turned around. Folks, I may not be able to describe this perfectly well, but I can tell you what, I know how it operates. And it's very deceptive and fraudulent and evil on all fronts. But you are pretty much contracting away your rights. Whenever you have to sign your name or autograph your name, more than likely you are allowing an entity, commercial entity, to in essence steal your credit, because they're going to make, in return, send you a bill. And by the way, a statement is not a bill. So go look at your electric bill, your utility, what you would call utility statement or utility bill. You'd call it a bill because you pay it. You pay the bill. But go look at it. There's usually two pieces to it. There's the top part, which is the informative part, and there's the bottom part, which is the coupon that they want you to send with your check or money order. And if you ever did the A for V or ever heard of accepted for value or whatever back in the day, you were supposed to be able to fill that coupon out like a money order and return it, and you would send that. Oh, sorry about the dog barking. So just remember, the statement is not a bill. They trick you into thinking it's a bill. They make it sound like it's a bill. Your mom and dad taught you that that's a bill, and what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to pay your bills, because if not, you're a schlep. You need to go out and work, and pay the bills. That's your job. This is life. You need to have 3 jobs and make this much money, and you need to own a house, and you need to have life insurance, and now they say you got to have insurance, and if you don't, it's going to be $600 or whatever. I mean, maybe they did away with that. My point is, life is not all about working, 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 and playing for 1% of the time. God never intended that for us, by the way. Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, they had life pretty good. Probably the hardest thing they did was reach up and grab an apple. And Adam got to name the animals. Ooh, like that's stressful. There goes the dog again. Okay, well, due to circumstances that are beyond my control, unless I put a muzzle on my dog, um, he's protecting food right now. Yeah, he's protecting food. Anyway, sorry for that. I hope this helps you guys. I will. Anyway, like I said, I hope all this helps you guys out. Like let's just review real quick. What do we make payments on? What's due? Anything like a mortgage, credit cards, automobiles, cars, vehicles, whatever you want to call it, student loans, loans that you get from, like the local TV store or Sears or something like that, credit card kind of things, a doctor, hospital bill, all this stuff that uses Social Security numbers, all of it is prepaid. All of it's prepaid. You don't owe it. There's no debts, by the way. There's no debt. There's no money. There's no money. Look up HJR 192, House Joint Resolution 192. There's no money. They took all the money away and they took all the gold. Remember in 1933? They took all the gold. Actually, they didn't take it. They told everybody to bring it to them because everybody believed that they were the bosses. People, we are the bosses. We, the living men and women on the land and soil of the state, on the state of Arizona, in my case, living man, we are the sovereigns. And our states are sovereign. And all the states got together and made an agreement, and it's called the Constitution for the United States of America, little u. It's the Constitution for the states of America that are united. The states of America are like California State, New Mexico State, New York State. That's the states of America. Anyway, I hope this helps. I hope you guys got a little more perspective now. And if you want to go check out www.annavonrights.com, that's a great website. If you also want to go check out national-assembly.net, that's a good website. If you want to, this is a We the People organic grassroots effort to establish the jural assemblies again at the county and state levels. This would be the grand jury and the petite jury. All right, and the grand jury, I believe, is 23 to 25 peers. Well, people, let's just call it people for now. And petite jury, I believe, is 13 to 15. Of course, that's including like a backup. And so definitely go check that out. Another website that I'm just going to go ahead and plug real quick is usaversus.us.info, I believe it is. And I'm just going to click on it real quick. Let's see, Control plus and click, and let's see what comes up. And while I'm at it, I'm just going to do a quick plug. Now, I don't believe that the perspective on this, the perspective of this website is from the proper perspective, but I do like that a lot of the different, like, in other words, this is comparing. In other words, it infers USA is United States of America and US is United States. But just because you added the of America doesn't even mean that it's the original America. It's really the United States of America, unincorporated republic. So it's the capital T. It's upper lowercase the United States of America, unincorporated. So that's how I can kind of tell. But yeah, see right here, it's styled like this, the United States of America. All right. And so this kind of shows you, one side, corporate side versus the, the we the people side kind of thing. One's a republic, one's a corporation. And, I really found it, someone turned me on to this, and I said I would look at it. And, one's a constitutional, one's Articles of Confederation in Philadelphia. This was done in District of Columbia. This was done in Philadelphia. And most people don't know that there's three United States constitutions. There's the original one, 1787. There's one in 1789 and one in 1790. The last one being the Constitution of the United States. And if you look at the Peace Treaty of 1783, I don't usually use Google, but they're going to be more accurate here. But let's see if I can find the Peace Treaty. And, obviously I'm done talking. Peace Treaty of 1783. Oh, there's a PDF. Darn it. Oh, I saw the PDF. Let me go back to the PDF. PDF. Oh, PDF. Right here. Let's see if we can see a PDF of it. That would be awesome. The Paris Peace Treaty of 1783. And this is something else that's going to blow your socks off, man. For those of you who are not, I want to see the actual treaty itself. Let's see. Column 1. I may be messing up right now. I might be wasting our time here, but I hope not. I want you guys to see this. If I can zoom. Can I zoom in on this? Doesn't look like it. So, alright, let me see if I can try something else. There we go. Okay, look at here, guys. Hearts of this. Prince George III, by the grace of God, King of Great Britain, France, and Ireland. What? He's the King of Britain, France, and Ireland? Well, I would have believed Ireland at the time, but France? Wait a minute, didn't the French give us a loan so that we could fight the war back in 1770s or whatever it was? That's crazy. Let's see. The Prince George III, yada 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 yada, is also the Arch-Treasurer and Prince Elector of the Holy Roman Empire, etc. What? He's the Arch-Treasurer of the Holy Roman Empire, the Vatican and all that stuff? Are you kidding me? And he's the Arch-Treasurer of the United States of America, USA. Notice the isn't capitalized. They created a whole new United States of America, folks. And I don't know about you, but I was taught in school that the Revolutionary War was fought by two sides, right? The colonists in Great Britain, and then the colonists had the help of the French, and they also got loaned money from the French. Well, meanwhile, the whole time, King George III was the King of France and the King of Great Britain. And we got duped, and we got tricked into a British territorial and eventually a municipal form of government on our land. And I'm gonna end it at that. So please check out onofonrights.com. Let me just go to this real quick here on onrights.com. Just show you a little bit about that real quick here. Come on. Here we go with the dog barking again. So this is Anna von Wright. She is a Supreme Court Justice of the Peace on Alaska, common law. Okay, American common law. She's not the kind of judge or justice of the peace that most people are used to hearing about. She was elected into said position and said office, and she doesn't operate in any way, shape, or form like a judge in a commercial court, from what I understand. She's merely there to kind of make sure everything goes right. We the people have the authority, not the judge. So just know that. You can do searches for specific topics. You can, let me see if I can blow this up a little bit. She has a reference to the National Assembly site. And these are her probably 12 or 1300 articles that she's been writing since I think 2012 or 13. So she's been doing this quite a while. The one that is particularly of the greatest interest to people is how to correct your political status. Now, don't think political. See, we were taught that politics is something that it's really not. Your political status is something entirely different. So let me click on Anna's basic package of editable forms. Excuse me. And just read up on this a little bit, and you can check out the diagram of the fraud, examples of recording cover sheets, because you're just supposed to record the acknowledgement, deed of reconveyance, certificate of assumed name, act of expatriation, and the Foreign Sovereign Immunities Act, which should be down here. And you can also do the cancellation of all powers of attorney. This page is pretty much what you have to do to separate, to bring the American part of you back to the land and soil of your birth. So if you were born, like I was born on New York, so I tied my vessel back to the land and soil of New York, that was otherwise lost at sea, found by pirates, the British, and then they've been eating up my cargo ever since, and they've also created new ships in the all caps names, and they've been making money off those ships in my name, from my unincorporated name to in trade. They converted it, unlawful conversion. They converted it to a commercial in the commercial realm, and so that's kind of what's been going on. Don't get scared by this expatriation word here, because really what you're doing is you're expatriating your all caps name, John Mark Doe, that vessel that they made without your permission, that you didn't know about. You're expatriating that from the United States, the wrong United States, okay, under the wrong Constitution, and you are bringing it back to and under the Constitution for the United States as an American. That's your private American vessel that conducts international trade. Okay. The reason why we have the Constitution for the United States is because the states of states, Arizona, Connecticut, New York. A Constitution, by the way, is a debt agreement. It's telling like who's doing what. It's a contract. Who's doing what and who's going to pay for it, and how much it's going to cost and stuff like that. And so pretty much the states of states, Arizona, Connecticut, New York, Florida, Georgia, you name it, Texas, they got together and created the Constitution for the United States, which had 19 enumerated powers that were delegated. These are delegated powers. And if you think about, there might be some things in your household that you delegate out, that you hire someone to come and clean your house. You hire the mailman comes to your house and delivers mail or whatever. You might hire someone to wash your car, mow your lawn, do stuff like that. It's pretty much that's what the states of states did. They hired out and formed a federation, a federal government, if you will, and placed it under a constitution, and the Constitution was the agreement between the states of states and said entity. And then that entity would go out and hire Americans to work for it, and they would in essence become federal citizens, capital C. Now that's my understanding of it. I may be slightly off on that, but I know I'm close. So I'm even willing to admit that. but I believe that's how it is, and that may even be said right here. So, and then by the way, there's lineage treaties and all kinds of stuff that you can do. There's baby deeds. So if you have a child who's 21 or under 21, you can do a baby land deed, tie the vessel back to because if they're not 21 yet, more than likely they haven't signed a loan or bought a car or anything. They haven't really gotten involved in commerce. The worst thing they probably did is sign up to vote and signed up for the military reserves or whatever they got to do when they're 18. The men, the boys. Diagram of the fraud. Let's just pick it open real quick here. Sorry guys, I just got to keep going. So let's see. Why is it? I'm so sorry about that. Oh, it's not letting me. It's not letting me open it for some reason. I apologize for that sound. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to go ahead and end it now. Thank you for your time.